Okay, Sam Grant folks, a bit of an issue here. We're coming up on the end of December, or I guess we're at the beginning of December, but we're coming up at the end of, the kind of work assignment for December, and we've got to get the timesheets in, and we've got to get the grant going. Now, I want to apologize. We kind of, the other folks in charge here, we were not talking with each other, and we were waiting on things to get approved by the board. And I've got about 12 other excuses, but basically we didn't get you guys together and started and moving. And it would be fine if we started up in January moving on this, but you would miss your opportunity to get the 10 hours in for December and get paid for it. So I'm sending this out as a video so that we can make sure that everybody gets a timesheet in, gets their assignments done, gets the timesheet in for December, so you guys can all get paid. That's why I'm kind of doing it in this hacked way with the video and everything, and to give you guys all assignments, and just so you can get paid for this month and get started on this. We're going to try to get together in January or in early February and bring together everything we've done in December and share it all and go back and forth and kind of figure out what we're doing with it and move forward in a more organized manner then. But let me do this. Let me go through some of what I've sent out to you guys. Let me shrink myself up. Here's the email I've sent to you guys. And I've got a course outline attached and everything else. And again, I appreciate the responses I've got. It's just we're under such a time crunch. We can't all meet together. And one thing I really want to emphasize with this, I'm giving you this kind of list of things you can complete to get your timesheets completed and get them turned in. If you really find, hey, I need to spend some more time on one item and not on the other, or I've got an idea that I want to spend some time chasing this thing down and working this out, I think this is going to be useful, hey, that's great. Send us a note. That sounds really good. We're all professionals here. We know what we're doing. I'm just giving you a basic outline for filling out your timesheet, and this will allow you to get it done and get it in, and everybody will be taken care of. If you feel you can change it and have it in a meaningful way, go for it. I'm all for it. This is just what I've filled out just so everybody has some direction so we can get the timesheets in and get everything moving, okay? So here's the list of things that can kind of be plugged into the timesheet and handed in. Now, with the timesheet and everything else, you can do it anticipating work to be completed. That's fine. It really needs to be turned in on Monday. I've talked to Cynthia. Maybe if we twist some arms, we can get it in a little bit later. But if you can get the timesheet filled in with your basic plan of attack for next week of December, that's the, I'm guessing the 8th, 9th, I guess it's around the 10th through the 5th. If you can get most of this done the 10th through the 5th, and if not, the next week, again, I realize it's finals week, but just get it planned out and get it on your timesheet and submit it on your timesheet, and that way we ensure that everybody gets paid. And I really want to make sure that's taken care of. Just get it on the timesheet as a plan for December. And take care of it as you need to in December, but make sure it's on that timesheet and it's turned in to Cynthia. Or if you want to give it to Justin or me, I believe Justin and I need to sign them off. And that would be, we'll do that either at Cynthia's office or at our own, and we'll get them over there, okay? Okay, so here's the little plan. I've got it typed up here a little bit bigger for folks who are as old as I am and can't see past their noses. I broke it down into two parts. This is the Sam Grant for December. The kind of things I think that will work to move us forward. Number one is develop an understanding of AB 705, and number two, develop an understanding of reading apprenticeship. Those are the two big things. I think if we got those done, we're going to be on good, on a solid foundation here. We're going to, know what we're kind of doing. And now I also realize some of you are much more familiar with AB 705 than others. And so some of you might need to spend a little more time. Some of you might really want to get lost in the weeds and check this thing out. And that's great. I do know Bryce really has some experience with some of these seminars on AB 705. There's the wording of the law, and then there's the actual implementation of the law, which are two very different things. So if you want to dig deeper into it, you can, but we do want everybody to have at least a basic understanding of, first and foremost, the legal requirements, okay? The legal requirements that, everybody, what we're going to do and everything else, and what the state is basically telling us to do, okay? That I want to make sure everybody has. The next thing we're going to need to do is make sure that, if we can explore some colleges that have all basically undertaken the same, process. What are they doing? What we can do is have everybody either contact a college, email, or give a phone call, and you can contact faculty members. You can obviously contact department chairs and things like that, and ask them what they're doing, and we could kind of see what other colleges are doing and how they're approaching it, and kind of figure out how we're doing things differently. It's very important to keep in mind that everybody is doing things a little bit differently. Everybody is. I'll show you our basic approach in a moment, but understand that everybody's going to do something differently. And I came up with a little list of colleges. I'll give that out in a second, where you guys can go, so we're not all going to the same college. But anyway, so that I do think, so legal framework, I think it's going to take about an hour of research to look into it. Institutional responses from 3 different colleges. I split up the colleges. You can go somewhere differently if you want, but I just split them up and assigned colleges to everybody just as suggestions. Again, I really want to emphasize all of this is suggested. If you really think your heart leads you somewhere else, we're open to it. Okay. So, and then the VVC response to the curriculum, and a bit of a discussion on it. I'll show you the basics on it. So the other thing is getting an understanding of reading apprenticeship. Now, if you don't know, this is an approach to reading that was put together by a company. I think they're called West Ed, and a number of folks here have actually gone through the reading apprenticeship program. I haven't, but I have a special master's in reading, and I've looked through this, and it's magnificent stuff. It really is. I was very cynical at first, but boy, they did a bang up job with it. I have a webinar video that's got really horrible sound, but it's an hour long and it goes through a lot of them, and I have a link to that. And then looking into both reading for understanding and reading for literacy, and trying to understand what they both are. Reading for understanding will probably take up more of your time, and that's essentially what reading apprenticeship is. And then looking through the reading for literacy, it's very important to understand, this was actually part of my master's program, is that reading specialists are generally the only reading specialists on campus. And essentially what you guys are all becoming something of reading specialists in your own little way. And reading specialists essentially have to be leaders to show other people how to do this stuff. And so that's why I was really excited to see that reading apprenticeship did something with leading and kind of management and distributing this knowledge. Okay, so let me show you some of these links that I put into the email, that I posted in the bottom. And let me show you these and go through them. The first one, it goes through AB 705, and this is running through the California Community College, the Chancellor's Office. And this goes through it, and this takes a little bit of time. And again, I want to say I put an hour down there. You can easily spend 3 if you want to. There are plenty of weeds to get lost in. The next one is working with reading apprenticeship at 3CSN. Okay, this gives the basics of what's going on with it and how it kind of works and what they're doing and how they've packaged it, put it together, and why it's been adopted by 3CSN. This is, again, I've put an hour or 2 down. Once again, you can get lost in the weeds and spend more time than what I've put down there. You do whatever floats your boat, okay? And this is another one on 3CSN. This is really good. This goes really into 3CSN and how it's connected to the Academic Senate of the community colleges and things like that. Although this one is more general. It isn't really about AB 705 or about reading apprenticeship in its particulars, but it's 3CSN in general. Now, this one is what I've attached to the email. And I don't think you can get to it just by going to the curriculum website. That's something I learned right before I sent this out. So I'm attaching it to you because I don't think it's fully approved and flying. It's going to be. I'm on the curriculum committee, and it's not running into any resistance. And I, put this together with other folks. Really quickly, what it's doing, our approach, just so you know, is to make English 81 a co-requisite for English 101 for those students who self-place at the bottom rung of our, incoming class. So that's what it is. Again, that's causes me to get a little bit nervous, but hey, what the heck. So the class is essentially a reading course. That's why we really want to emphasize reading apprenticeship in those skills that are involved in reading. And so, so our response to AB 705 here at VVC is essentially to create English 81, which is a reading class, and we want to make reading apprenticeship techniques really part of the teaching methodology that's going to be used in English 81. Okay, that's what we're doing. This is our response to AB 705. And we want to mobilize reading apprenticeship to work with this curriculum. That's what it is, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing. Here's the YouTube video that goes through it. Again, it's god-awful sound, but it's really good content. You can't hear it because I'm using the microphone, but anyway. This is a good webinar that goes through all of these basic techniques of learning and everything else, and how students basically, in the end, teach themselves. Okay, and it goes through resilience and all that kind of stuff. These last little nuggets are going to reading apprenticeship, and they give you a lot of information on reading for understanding. This book is something Josh sent me to, Josh Wagenhofer sent me to, and I really appreciate that. That was eye-opening. And again, this is WestEd, how well they've put it together. This one I have not done myself, but this is the Leading for Literacy. But they have lots of resources in here that are worth going to and spending some time on. And I left an hour or two for this one. But again, I want to encourage you, you do what you think is valuable and what you think works for you and what you really need to be a good team member, part of the SAM grant. Okay. And that's it. So that's kind of what we're doing. And let me give you the colleges I'm going to suggest to everybody. And again, I want to emphasize suggest. For Leontine, I'm suggesting Pasadena, Hartnell, and Chaffey. Pasadena, Hartnell, and Chaffey. For Sherrill, I'm suggesting De Anza, Orange Coast, and Diablo Valley. So for Sherrill, De Anza, Orange Coast, Diablo Valley. For Brian, Napa Valley, Santa Barbara, and Ohlone. So for Brian, Napa Valley, Santa Barbara, and Ohlone. And I apologize, I'm going to mispronounce this name, Yiju. Foothill, Irvine Valley College, and Saddleback. Foothill, Irvine Valley College, and Saddleback for Yiju. For Tim, San Bernardino Valley College, West Valley College, and Coastline College. So for Tim, it's San Bernardino Valley College, West Valley College, and Coastline College. And for Peter, Lake Tahoe, Bakersfield, and College of the Desert. So for Peter, Lake Tahoe, Bakersfield, and College of the Desert. Okay. And let me come back in here and blow myself up all huge. So again, those colleges, if you don't want to do them, I picked them because they seem to be really solid colleges, and I've seen decent curriculum. They're about the same size. Most of them are larger than we are. Like De Anza is absolutely massive and bigger than the state of Iowa. But they've got good curriculum. Pasadena, I just think, is amazing, along with Santa Barbara and some of these others. A lot of the other ones are about our size, and so I thought they would be useful and have something we can learn from and at least know what other folks are doing. So I hope that helps. What I do want to emphasize is we need the timesheets in to Cynthia. It's supposed to be on Monday. Cynthia would be happy if we had them in on Monday. And we know how happy, how good it is to keep folks happy when you're working with them. and that would be good. If you can't be on campus then, or if you want to attach it and send it in as a PDF thing or whatever like that, or photograph and send it in to me or to Cynthia, we'll get it in for you. If you absolutely cannot make that date, contact me and I'll see what we can do, okay? All right, thanks much, folks, for being cooperative with this and for jumping in on this. We really have got a great group here, and we're going to get together either in late January or early February and put this all together and move forward in a little more organized manner. But let's get through this month of December. Make sure you guys all get paid and everything and get moving on this. All right, take care.